Hallelujah to the only true and wise King, triumphant in all his ways. We adore him who made all things, and he said it was good. He made all things and said it was good. Hallelujah to the King of glory. I want to shout out before I get started to my babies all over the U.S. and abroad. My babies in Toledo, Ohio. I love you guys. And Texas, Washington, New Jersey, all around. You know, one person to buy I haven't heard from in a minute. And I was just saying about OG Lana.
Yeah.
I haven't heard. And I pray that all is well with my brother. And I pray speedy, total recovery. I want to shout out to all the Hebrews and Shebrews all the way around. Brother Jacob, Todah. I bless Yah for you, and Sister Jada. And even Brother Levi, all praise to the Most High. All shout outs to all my family all around the U.S. Mississippi, somebody thinks you're wonderful. Hallelujah. And to my babies, you know, I've got some babies that are all around in the 13s and 14s and 12s that listen. And we talked about that, and I'm so grateful for my babies who listen to these classes. Now, I want to do some housekeeping really quickly. These things, family, that I'm telling you all now are some things that if you're dealing with in your body, this is not an all cure-all, but this is just saying some things that you might notice in your bodies that you're going through. Some things you might want to go back and say, well, let me check this. Am I depleted in this? Or do I need this? Or do I need that? So this is the reason why we have this class. Because remember, our bodies talk to us. And they talk to us in certain ways that sometimes we don't know what it's saying. But the more you pay attention, the more you catch on. Amen? So today we're going to finish off this class, family. We are talking about still the B complexes. Last time we talked about B12s. And we were talking about some things that were depleted in with B12. So today we're going to talk about B1. You know, B1 is one of the, let me tell you another name for B1. It's thiamine. Thiamine is another name, thiamine. And when you see, they say, some people might go and they're like, well, you low in thiamine, you need to take this. Do you B1? And check that out. But some things, I didn't put all the spices that in here. We're going to talk about a lot of spices. And we're not going to be here long today, fam. We're only going to be here for a short time today. We've got some other things we have to take care of. But, and we're going to be here with just a short time. We'll pick up for the time that we did not do on next week. Amen. I just want to put this out too. I'm so grateful to the Father for who He's put in my life and what He's done in my growth. And I just want to shout out to those that helped me get to the point where I am. And I'm not there. Don't get me wrong. I am not there, but I'm getting there. And this is one thing that I love the Father for. And I praise y'all for that. As we said again, I don't know it all. But the things that I do know, I am sharing. So our son says, Mom, tell me that you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But those things that I know, I got you. Amen. Had to do just a little bit of house cleaning. And now, let's go on. Now, those people, let me tell you all, sometimes when we're eating different foods, it does not digest into our system. So therefore you might say, Imam, I'm taking this, but for some reason, why is it I'm not absorbing certain minerals? Certain depletion of minerals you need to put together. Certain vitamins go together with some and certain do not. But a lot of times it's intestinal problems. And when you have intestinal problems, those minerals that are meant to go into your digestion, they don't get there and they're not used or utilized by the body. So I'm just saying that you might want to check on that. So today, we're going to just talk about some things right now where you might say, let me think on that. what is going on with my body? We've already written some things down, fam, that will affect, or you might want to look in your body and say, oh, I think forgetfulness. I had a Shebrew, and we were talking about forgetfulness and some of the things that we were dealing with. And she says, well, I just thought it was just old age. A lot of times with old age, you say you're getting older and write them down that just...
It is old age too, though, isn't it? Because as you get older, your body actually requires more of those vitamins and minerals that you were given in addition. Whereas in your youth, it's like when you're born, I mean, you got a large supply, but as you get older, those things become depleted.
Exactly. So you make me proud. We are depleted, and we're getting lower and lower. Like you said, Tobias, our bodies require more. And your body will tell you, I need this, I need this, I know we got it, but I need this, and I need this. You're right. Forgetfulness, that's one of the things that B1 and B12 will, you might want to check your B complexes in your bodies. Forgetfulness. And like we said, digestion, you can't digest vitamins or minerals successfully. A lot of times your numbness will tell you, I'm certain things are numb, what am I depleted in? I need my B1s, I'm taking B12, maybe I need some B1s. You want to check that, but you want to make sure that when you get your B complexes, fam, you want to get that liquid, I think I showed you all last time, of the minerals that you might want to get. It's a supplement, and you want to do it subliminal, so it goes straight to the blood. The next thing you might want to check if you have loss of appetite or constipation. I have a relative in my family, and every time he comes, he says, TT, I cannot go to the bathroom except when I come to your house. What is it? It's the food that we eat that is packed with certain minerals and certain things. It's set up. Yes, it will. High fiber. Your green leafy vegetables, fam. Your green leafy vegetables. We are drinking burdock today. And burdock is one of those things that are high in B1. We are taking, you got burdock tea, a little chickweed in it, a little chicory in it. Those are high in B1s. And there's some things that are high in B1s. Cayenne pepper is high in B1 family. We're always talking about cayenne pepper on the our classes and things like that. We're always talking about that. But one of the things that we want to, and also muscle weakness. Family, with those who are weak in their muscles, and you say, oh, my muscles are always tired, always this, check your B1s. And when, ladies, you might think, you say, oh, when you get agitated that time of the month, that's when you want your B complexes. So when you're tired or agitated or irritated, you might want to check and make sure you're up on your B complexes, especially B1. I normally take my B1 at night or early in the morning when I first get up. That's one of the things that I take basically at night sometimes, so it gets into my system and acclimated into my body. So mental depression. When you get exhausted all the time, you might want to check your B complexes. Now we have somebody in our house that I just give it to him, he just takes it. No, I'm not making any names or anything like that, but I've gotten to the point where he just takes it sometimes, just FYI, and just something. Family, you know when you have loss of, when you go to the doctor's office and they want to check to see how your reflexes are, and whether they're low and they want to give you this or that, check your B1 complexes, your B1s or your B complexes. I'm just giving you some names of some things. You make sure we always say this, green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables are high in a lot of majority of the minerals that you really need and other things as well. So, when you have that foot drop, there was what in my generation they used to call it foot drop, where the foot was like hanging, or it won't do certain things for you. You have that one weak leg. You might want to check your B1s and your B complexes. When we say your wrist, carpal tunnel, When they say carpal tunnel family, and those are typing a lot on their computers, you might want to check and see if it's, check your B complexes and do an extra little bit of B1. So that check that before you begin to do any surgery. There's a lot of minerals that are depleted in the body that will give you that sensation of pain in your joints. So you want to check onto that too. When you have pain in the muscle, the back of the muscle, that tendonitis in the back of the leg, you know when you get to the back of the leg, back in the back, and this part right here, this part right up in here, up in there, that's that part that you might want to check as well. Just like the tendonitis, like up in your arms when you, carpal tunnel. Those are some areas where your body uses a lot of your B complex in your muscles actually. And it's one of those things that you want to check. When you have athletes and they've been out in the sun and they're dehydrated and they're always saying my muscle hurt. When they're football players, the children are out there playing football, or they're out there playing baseball or they're basketball, and all of a sudden they begin to have those pains that go up, and check their B complexes. I'm going to give you a list of foods that you can do. Actually, you can do alfalfa, brewer's yeast, like we say, cayenne pepper, burdock, and we're going to list a lot of others. But I'm just wanting to get to the basis part, where in these places, it goes through your body. I just want to hit on those areas. Now, the regular food that we're going to talk about today are like asparagus. And I hear you already. Ema, I don't like asparagus. Guess what? It's high in B1 and also your other B minerals and complexes. Broccoli, we had broccoli yesterday, and I just put it in the, you know what I did? I just put it in, I took it and I put it in the oven, you all know, and just put a little glaze over it, or a little browning a little bit, put a little seasoning on top of it, just put it in the oven like that, and it browned, and it was very, very good. Just put a little olive oil, whatever spices you want, a pinch of cumin. Remember we talked about you could take broccoli and you put a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of cumin in there, just a little to taste, and you put some maple syrup. The maple syrup will give for those children that don't like their green leafy vegetables, so the broccoli. You put just a pinch of maple syrup, and it acts and it'll make its own brine, and it's really sweet and really wonderful for them. Or you can take the maple extract, and it gives that certain smell, and it gives that temptation for them to eat their broccoli. You can do that, which is one wonderful thing. Plums are high in B1 complexes. Raisins, you know we love raisins, and also watercress. Now I told you all, if you all want to send me a crate of watercress, that'll be just fine. It'll be perfect. I'm good. But there's some other things that we want to talk about. When I say Berber, that means, I have it right here. The Berber is a term for weakness, or I cannot. Berber cannot. It's weakness, which a lot of people say they can't move. That's an old-fashioned term, so I'm sorry I put it here. Meaning they can't move or they can't do certain things and they get really weak. When you see people walk like they're walking like they have a cowboy type of walk, that's when you might want to check those B complexes, especially B1s, B12s. You want to check that. And that will actually tell you that, well, you won't just tell you, but it'll give you some hint of some of the things that you might want to check on. Make sure you have your B complexes. B complexes are found out. Let me say this to you. Remember I used to say a while back that when you don't eat certain vegetables, these certain things, certain processed foods will rob your bodies of different of your minerals and your nutrients in your body. Well, a lot of the processed foods will rob you of your B complexes, and you don't think why. Such as we've already talked about, and I'm dropping some names, and I don't like to do that, but Doritos and all those kind of things. They'll rid your body. They'll pull the minerals out of your body, and you're saying, "Oh, I'm losing weight." At first, it makes you feel like you're going to go to the bathroom, or it clog you up. That's part of the constipation, where it grabs that B complex and it's going to hold on to it, and it robs your body of those nutrients. So there's some things like that you might want to do. Now, for those children I like to say, you know what you can do? And this is why people say, Ema, why you always have clothes in your mouth? Always. Well, guess what? One of the type of clothes is because it's high in B1. And I put B1 and I didn't put that. So I'm just telling you all some herbs that you can use that has high in B1 and a lot of your B complexes. Well, B1, your cloves are one that you can use for the muscles. It helps the muscles in the body, and I wrote it down this time, so I won't forget this time to tell you all. And I just took a picture. Next time, I told Tobias I was going to bring my little board, and I was going to have it written on the board so you all can see, so I won't miss anything, and I got my little cheat sheets. So, but anyway, it's eye bright, garlic. Ooh. Remember we said when you have problems sleeping or you have that numbness? Well, guess what? Or eye bright is good when it cleanses the eyes, and I know that I was telling you all about that, but eye bright is also high in B1s. And so you can drink the eye bright and hops. Hops help your body when not the alcohol, but just the herbs. I have to say that. Your hops, not the beer, but the hops themselves are really wonderful. It helps your muscles relax. And the reason why it helps them relax is because it's high in B1 and B complexes. So it helps not only your muscles relax, but it also helps with the memory. Have you ever had I don't know whether you've done this before, where you've had where you've had just one beer. So when you get back up in the morning, you kind of, at first, when you first get up in the morning, you kind of drag, but then you have good memory later on in the day. That's that B1s, that hops. It gets back into the body and helps your memory. And it helps you, and it gets rid of the fatigue a lot of times, depending on what the beer is. But if it's higher in hops than it is in the others, then that's really good for you as well. You know what? Another thing, peppermint. I want to make sure that you all knew that. Peppermint and spirulina. The reason why I love spirulina so much is because the spirulina is high in B1. And it's really good, and when you mix it in with others, like your smoothies, your shakes like chlorella, and your thyme, guess what, thyme is really good. It's high in B complexes. But anyway, so those are some things that I wanted to make sure that I brought out. Also, you know, they have something called oak straw. Oak straw, I haven't introduced that to you, but I'm going to be bringing that to you, information to you all really soon about oak straw. But oak straw is good. And some people ask me for a recipe. Okay, I'm going to be giving you all recipes, and coming real soon. Cloves, sage is good for the memory. Did you know you could take sage and don't use a whole lot? And sage is so packed with just a lot of nutrients. B1 is one of the ones. Also, B12, sage has in it. But there's a lot of minerals that are high, and I didn't put this down. So I'll have it down next week, so I'll write it down on the board so you all can have the spices for B1 for later on, and you'll know about those things. But these are just a few things. And what they do, what B1 does, family, it helps with the red blood cells. So if you're ever low and they say, oh, your red blood cells are low. How many have ever heard that? Let me see a hands up or a thumbs up that you've heard people say your red blood cells are low. When they say your red blood cells, check your B1 and your B complexes, because that helps, that has a lot. And I was telling Tobias when we first get started, that B1 is actually thiamine. It's thiamine. So when they say your thiamine is low, they're just saying B1. Your B1 is low. So you want to check that. And it helps a lot. It aids with your, B1 helps with your digestive system so much that I tell you what. So sometimes when my babies would come, I have someone that comes to my orders all the time, burdock all the time. And they were saying to me, they said, Ema, every time I drink my burdock, I can go to the bathroom. What is it? it's that B1, it's that thiamine that takes away the constipation that they've had during the day. And it's so good for circulation. It helps with circulation in the body so much so. Now check this out. It's so much so, we're going to talk about circulation, and we're going to just a side note coming up about all the herbs and different things that are good for circulation in the body. But that's one of the things, and it helps with to prevent those who say, they were saying something else to me. Not only does it help with their constipation and they go to the bathroom all the time, they said it helps my weight. They said, I'm only drinking a little bit, but it helps with the weight. They're helping shed the weight. And I'm like, yeah, because the burdock and the chickweed and your chicory, both are things that help push the toxins out, plus help the muscles, and it relieves inflammation, plus that red blood, when you have red blood cells, it helps you lose weight. So it's going to push the fat out, and it's going to help with that area. So, and it helps with the function of your carbs in your body. That's what it really does. And what it actually does, it helps with the fluid retention. So if you have any fluid build up in your body that's not supposed to be there, that's what B1 does. B1 is phenomenal. How the Father, it's amazing how the Father does us. The Father's given us all things pertaining to life and godliness. And you know what? I say, Todah. All praise to the Most High. It's just like B1, I'm not saying it's a cure all, but your B complexes are so important to your body, fam. It is so that it helps bring circulation. Circulation brings oxygen. So these are some things I want you all to do. I got a homework for you, and some people say, Ima, you have homework. This says who's been listening and who's been paying attention to the last couple classes that we have. So for you, I want you this week to go, and I want you to check out the different foods that you are eating and that have B1 in them, thiamine in it. I wanted you to do an examination on yourself this week, and I want you to tell me whether you are eating foods high in B1 and B12s. Now, last week we talked about the foods that are high in B12. And we want you this week to check in your diet and see all the things. Remember last week, hiccups. But all the things that you were eating that had B12, and now this week B1. So you come to me and you tell me, now my babies, I want you all to help your mommies and your daddies, and I want them to examine what they're eating, and you compare that with them and tell them, did my Barb say eat your asparagus? Did she say eat your broccoli? Do we have broccoli and asparagus? Did we eat that today? Check them with them. And your melons, remember we said last week about the melons. So we want melons, we want that in your diet to rehydrate your body. And you know what, these are some things. Now, this week what I want you to do, I said I was going to give you a smaller recipe. So this is what you do. Get you some pineapple. It could be the pineapple itself. And I've heard a lot of people say they love the pineapple ginger. So this week, as hydration, and because it's getting hotter, and this is an alkaline for you. Alkaline. So you're going to take your pineapple, you're going to juice it, or if you don't have the pineapple, you can get the pineapple juice concentrated. Not my best favorite, but it's up there. So if that's all you can get your pineapple and add a little ginger to it and let it simmer just for a minute, enough to let the ginger and the cinnamon intermingle. You don't have to let it sit on there for a long time, just enough to heat it up. Put your ginger, put your pineapple, put your ginger in your pineapple, and take just a little bit of lime, and you mix it in, and you put it over ice, and that'll alkaline your body. Don't forget, if you want to add cucumbers, you can do that. Juice your cucumbers and put it over in there. Or you can do a little parsley. And people say, hey mom, you say all this, remember parsley is alkaline and it also is B1. So that's your juice, that's your tea to keep you iodized this week. You had a question?
Another question, this is stated, brother, sister in the chat, by the name of EJ. Says, Shalom, family.
Shalom.
It says, thank you again so much, Imam. The burnout is really working well for me.
Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Creator. He made all things and He made all things well. I love Him for that. And thank you for the testimony. I appreciate you and I love you for that testimony, BJ. Good job. That's confirmation. And I thank the Creator for you on that. And it does work. So, recap. Your burdock, circulation. Your chicory, circulation, constipation. It'll aid with that. We say cayenne pepper is good for that. We say brewer's yeast, if you can get a hold of that. If not, hops. Those are just a few. It's good for weight loss, for your weight. It's good for edema. Those that have issues with your edema. Iron, low iron, and right on down the line in your body. Loss of appetite, constipation, weakness, agitation when you're agitated. Ladies, when you're on your menses, you want to make sure you add a little B1 and B complexes during that time because it's coming out of your body. Nervousness, exhaustion. We're going to make sure mental oppression. We want to make sure you are aware. Now, one of the things that really gets me, and I was telling my TT, I have an aunt and she's in her 80s, I told you about that, and she was doing pineapples and all that stuff. She said, forgetfulness. I said, yeah, and we were talking about forgetfulness. And she said, she's in the 80s, she said, you know what? You mentioned that. She said, but I'm so sharp. She said, I can remember from yesterday to 40 years ago. And I'm like, girlfriend, I'm gonna let the people know that you said that in your 80s, that you got that memory going on, girl. But she does her herbs, she does her spices, she does her roots. And remember, a lot of sprouts, before I go, family, do you know you can sprout some broccoli? And those sprouts are just as good. I mean, oh man, they're so good. You can sprout broccoli, you can sprout your, if those that don't like asparagus, you can sprout the asparagus. And then eat the sprouts, and they are so condensed for you. And these are just some foods. Watercress, sprout some watercress. You know what I mean about sprouting? These are, get the seeds around just like celery seeds. I have celery seeds. And I'll sprout my celery seeds, just put them in a little water, a little bit, just to moisture them out. In a flat pan, like a little flat pan, put them on that flat pan, and then put water over it, rinse them over one time, and when you rinse them over, use your strainer so it doesn't go through the drain. But you can do that, and then because they're wet, and then put like a sheer mesh over it, and every day just make sure you keep water on them, and they'll sprout for you. And when they sprout, you can eat those sprouts and put them on your salad. That's where they get, if you ever gone to your grocery store, some go to Snooks, different other grocery stores in your area, and you've seen sprouts. They have Brussels sprouts, they look like seedlings coming up with sprouts. Mm-hmm. And they have packs where they have broccoli, they have cauliflower, all of those different sprouts in one thing. Well, you can do your own, but when you do it, make sure there's not any mold in it. So how you do that? You can sprinkle just a little bit of pinch. This is my secret. I tell you all my secrets, don't I? Cinnamon will get rid of mold if you didn't know that. So you can put just a pinch of cinnamon, just a pinch, and when you're rinsing your seeds or your little seeds, just put just a pinch of cinnamon in, and when you rinse it, just rinse it on off, and every time, so it helps you not to mold, to build up in it. That's one way, but along with a lot of other ways you can do that. But those are just one thing, just put a little cinnamon in it. And make sure it's the real cinnamon, not that sawdust or anything like that. So you want to do that. But I just wanted to bring this to you, and we're going to talk more about it, about the rest of these things for next week. Remember, do your homework. My babies, help mommy and your dad this week to see, are they really eating their B complexes and their B1s? Because this works. It works when, make sure if they don't have these different foods, mommy, daddy, can I get a B1? Let's get some B1 and let's take it at night before we go to bed and see the difference. It's going to help with constipation. And for those that are, and I want to thank you, BJ, for mentioning that today. Now, shout outs. I love you guys so much. This Ema thinks you're wonderful, and I'm so happy that you came into the class today. You make me and the Father look good. You make us proud. Somebody said, Ema, you're not supposed to say you make me proud, but you guys do. You make me so wonderfully proud that you're there. And don't forget the thumbs up. Tell everybody Ema Barb is on Health Corner, is alive. The class is alive and well. And if you have any questions, don't forget to hit me up in the email. In the email.
At Barbs
Health Corner.
At gmail.com. Which is on the screen right now.
Which is on the screen right now. Or if you have any questions, you can just, before we do this, just put in the comments.
That's right.
I can come back and look at those things and give some attention to that. This is the day that the Most High has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. He's given us the resurrection power, and we will use it the rest of the day. How about that? I love you. Until next time, next week, blessings on your week. Shalom, then. Bye.